Well, we want to introduce the right guest, and our right guest right now is State Senator Bruce Tarr. And Bruce, good morning to you, and welcome to WHAV. I think it's the first time we've had you on, isn't it?
I think it is. Good morning, Wynn, and it's great to be with you on the WHAV, Haverhill's only public radio station.
You've been listening.
Well, I appreciate what you do and the service that you provide, and it's important to be able to get out timely information and to be able to talk about things that are happening in the community and on Beacon Hill, and WHAV certainly does that.
Well, thank you. In fact, just a few minutes ago, we had State Representative Andy Vargas on, and I kind of mentioned the same thing. I said, I've worked in markets where they no longer have a local radio station. They were sold to a bigger operation, and they didn't care about the local stuff. But Haverhill is we're one of the rare ones, so I'm very happy to be part of that, and happy to have you on the air.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and it's unfortunate that we're seeing a lot of local news outlets succumbing to the changes in the market, and we don't see as many local newspapers, we don't see as many local radio stations, and I, for one, think that's unfortunate because it is important to have a medium of communication that responds to local priorities. And when I know you've been in this business a long time, and I appreciate you always prioritize that, and that's why I was so happy to come on this morning.
Well, thank you so much. In fact, in my previous previous stops, one of the things that we used to promote is a toy drive that you were sponsoring around the North Shore area. And are you still able to do something like that?
I am pleased to report that we are, in fact. Again, we've had a lot of changes in local radio stations, and so this year we're actually going to a new platform for us. We're using Facebook Live, and the toy drive, as you recall, used to be only in one day. It was a very long day where we'd start at about 6 in the morning and we'd end at about 8 o'clock at night. This year it's going to be 2 days, so it's going to be December 11th and December 12th. And folks can find the locations at northshoreholidaytoydrive.org, and we'll be broadcasting live. And when we've got a lot of things lined up for those broadcasts, as you know, we try to have local performers and particularly student performers. We always have local officials and police chiefs and fire chiefs, and all of that is in store once again this year for what will be 2 very long days, but 2 very joyous days. Because whenever we turn on the microphone and go live, we always get to showcase the generosity of the people in our region, and that is something that is always heartening in the holiday season. And this year, I'm trying to think up in the service area of the WHAV. I know that we'll be in North Andover at the China Blossom, along with Joe Bevilacqua from the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce and many, many others. So again, I would encourage folks to go to our website, northshoreholidaytoydrive.org, to get all the details. And one thing that I always try to stress when is we want people to join us. It's not just about broadcasting, it's about gathering. And so if anyone can come by, I would ask them to bring either a cash contribution or a gift card or a new unwrapped toy, and would remind folks that all of the things that we raise in whatever community we're in stay in that community. And so our toy drive is not its own entity. What we do is partner with local entities, and in your part of the world, we'll be partnering with the YMCA. So we're very happy to be doing that, and again, would encourage everybody to come by.
Oh, that's fantastic. Just thinking about toy drives today, we have a story today about the Toys for Tots collection that's taking place over at the West Newbury police station in the lobby area. So they're doing that until the 12th, I think it is. And then MEVA Transit, which is covers some of the towns that you represent. MEVA Transit's doing a Stuff a Bus promotion. That's getting underway in just a couple of minutes at Target in Haverhill, and then that'll be from now till 11, and then on from 1 until 4 at the Target over in Methuen. Now, the last time I had a chance to see you, that was during a dinner that was held to celebrate MEVA Transit and the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission. And and they're all throughout the area, and including a number of towns that you represent. Why don't you tell us about that?
So they are. You know, the reason we were together is we were celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Merrimack Valley Planning Authority, and that's a long time, Win. And even though they've been a constant in our lives, it's still hard to imagine them being around for 60 years. But they have been so impactful in all of our communities, and one of the things that they bring to the table is the ability to plan and apply for grants related to projects that folks want to conduct locally. And oftentimes, as you know, communities don't have large planning departments or a lot of resources for those things, particularly the smaller communities, Georgetown, Groveland, in your service area. And the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission brings that horsepower to the table that helps to get things done, whether they be conservation projects, transportation projects, the development and transmission of energy, a lot of road and bridge work. So they just do a great job. And one thing that I would want to focus on this morning is our collective efforts on the Merrimack River. So we've been working together through the auspices of the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission and the Merrimack Valley Watershed Council to improve the water quality of the Merrimack River, particularly in light of the untreated discharge of effluent from wastewater treatment plants up and down the river. And while we've made a lot of progress, we've still got a significant distance to go before we get that water quality to where we want it to be reliably every day without the episodic influence of those untreated discharges. So we're working on that together, and we could not do that without the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission, who helps to convene us, who facilitates the work that we do, and provides staffing for an effort that is largely comprised of volunteers, local officials, the state legislative delegation, and more recently, Senator Ed Kennedy from Lowell and I have been working together to cross the border, and we've reached into New Hampshire because some of the wastewater treatment plants that contribute significantly to discharges in the river aren't in Massachusetts, they're in New Hampshire. And through the good work of the MVPC, we've been able to make contact with our counterparts in New Hampshire, and we're meeting together, and we're seeing an effort, the likes of which I would argue have never been seen with regard to improving the water quality in the Merrimack.
I've had a chance to talk with the Merrimack River Watershed Authority, whatever the name is, and yeah, they always talk about the Merrimack River providing drinking water for about 600,000 people, and generally, they keep an eye on what's happening in the Concord, New Hampshire area, and Manchester and Nashua, and all the parts in between, and there's a lot of stuff that ends up in the river that shouldn't be there.
There's no doubt about it, and of course our good friend John McCone, who you recall used to be the editor of the Newburyport Daily News, is very active over at the Watershed Council, and we work with him a lot. And what winds up happening is the treatment plants are designed for their daily use, their more average use. But when we get a large rainfall, then if the stormwater is not separated from the wastewater, all of the stormwater winds up at the treatment plant. The treatment plant isn't designed to be able to treat that water, and so it creates a discharge right into the river. Now, again, I wouldn't want folks to think that every day the river is receiving these discharges. It's not. But when we have particularly significant rainfall events, it creates a discharge of untreated effluent, and that's a health issue. So one of the things that we've been able to do in the legislature working together, and I'm very pleased that the Merrimack Valley Legislative Delegation has worked together on this, is create an alert system so that particularly in the summer, people can know when that situation has occurred so they can act accordingly to protect the health of their families. But knowing about it is one thing, acting on it is another, and we're in that phase now of acting on it so that we won't have to alert people of a danger or an issue.
Well, that's a very important part, and that's something that the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission is also involved with, too, is that alert system as well. Well, I know, Bruce, that you have things to do. You're a busy guy, and is there anything else you'd like to add this morning?
Well, Win, I would again thank you for what you do and the great work of the WHAV, and I would just remind folks that and I know you spoke about this earlier with Representative Vargas, we just passed a very important economic development bill. I would remind folks that a lot of the money in that bill is bond money, which means that the legislature passing the bill is the first step, and the administration deciding which things to spend on is the second step. So we'll be looking forward to working with the administration on that. And would just say that, spending money is part of the equation, but cutting costs is another part of the equation, and we'll be looking in the new year to once again make Massachusetts more competitive so that the investments we make from the bond bill are going into a more competitive and fertile environment for job growth and economic development. So we look forward to that, but the main thing is I want to wish you and your listeners a very happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, and a Happy Hanukkah, which is coming up, starting the same day, as I understand it, on Christmas. And just want to celebrate the fact that we have a wonderful community, and today we know that it's served by a wonderful radio station. So happy holidays, and wishing everyone a healthy, happy, prosperous New Year.
Well, thank you so much. And Bruce, I appreciate that, and appreciate all that you do in the State House. And you're, I very impressed. Actually, I hadn't heard that angle before, but the bond bill, so it's kind of like a two-step process. First, you have to approve the bond, and then the bond has to be authorized, right?
Exactly, Win, and forgive the colloquial analogy, but what I often say is the legislature writes the menu and the governor decides what she's going to eat. So it's a two-step process.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Bruce, you have a great Christmas season as well, and hope your staff does as well, too. All right?
Thanks, Win, very, very much. The very best to all of you and yours, and to your listeners as well.
All right. Thank you so much. State Senator Bruce Tarr, our guest this morning right here on the WAVE, 97.9 WHAV.
Wake up with Win Damon, weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on 97.9 FM WHAV.
Catch the wave, WHAV.